Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on in. Welcome to the 411 podcast. What's going on, everybody? It's Tuesday, May 27th, Transformational Tuesday. Welcome on in. This is episode 21. Tonight, minimalism versus approval. So I will tell you that it's probably going to be an interesting show tonight. I'm going to make sure that I do a very good job of keeping my emotions in check because minimalism is something that I'm very passionate about. And you'll find out why as we go through this show tonight. But before we do that, I want to go ahead and give a very special thank you to my executive producer. Thank God. Thank you for giving me another opportunity to come out here and do the 411 podcast. And I also want to thank each and every one of you out there. If you listen, if you watch, if you like, if you share, subscribe, people who DM me, people who text me, any way that you support this program, any way that you support this movement, I want to say thank you so much. There's been lots of highs and there's been some lows as well. And the fact that I'm still here, the fact that you are all still there, I want to say thank you so much. Minimalism versus approval. This 5 Restoration, the 411 Podcast, episode 21, Transformational Tuesday. We're going to get right on into this. Yesterday's episode, mental minimums. So we helped out Mr. Jared, and I'm just curious why we stay in Newark. I keep saying that. Just so curious why we keep staying in Newark, New Jersey, but hey, we can't pick and choose where people come from, but I'm from New Jersey, if anybody doesn't know that. But Jared was a customer service rep, and he battled anxiety, depression linked to his debt. $26,000 in credit card debt. He did the professional route, which is good. He's seeking therapy, but he's still connecting himself, his personal value, his wealth, based on his bank account. So I spoke last night about why we shouldn't compare ourselves to other people, why we shouldn't be focused on a material aspect of it. And again, this is a common theme that continues to be intertwined or woven throughout all of these shows here that we have. And tonight we're going to speak about minimalism. And there's no coincidence that people who are in severe debt, a lot of it is due to materialism. Ask me how I know? Because that used to be me. So it seems like Jared was focusing on the material aspect of it, racked up credit cards debt to 26 plus, and now is looking at his bank account and it's not the same as what it was before. So because his bank account is not what he wants it to be, he's comparing and basing his self-worth off of the value of his bank account, which is not a good situation to be in. If you want to hear more from last night's episode and how I gave my opinion, I'm not here to give any advice, how I gave my opinion and weighed in on Jared's situation, please go ahead and watch that replay. I also want to let you know that I am on multiple different platforms. I am on Facebook, I am on Instagram, X, YouTube, DLive, Twitch, Daily Motion. I'm also on, the audio version is also on Spotify, Amazon Music, Deezer, Podcast. There's so many, I'm trying to name them all, excuse me. Audacity. The list goes on and on. Pocket Cast. I can't even name them all. So wherever you go to listen to your favorite podcast, just check and see if the 411 podcast Reading Between the Wines is a part of that. And if not, please feel free to reach out to me and we will see if we can get that streaming on that platform. So, song of the day, Love Yourz by J. Cole, released in 2014 off of Forest Hills Drive. I want to speak about the beauty in the struggle because this debt free living is not easy. In the beginning, it's going to be an uphill battle. But there is, excuse me, definitely don't want that to be on there. There definitely is beauty in the struggle. Once you know better, you do better. Like J. Cole says, there's no such thing as a life that is better than yours, and that is absolutely the truth. There's no such thing. And I know that some of you out there listening may not even feel that way, and I get it. I didn't start to feel that way about my life until 2020. But even when it gets hard, we still have to continue to think of the end game. Where do we want to be? Where do we want to go? Where do we want to grow? Checking Instagram, checking social media, comparing yourself to other people is a trap. And it's set up that way on purpose to get us stuck, to get our minds twisted and distorted so that we can go out and rack up a bunch of consumer debt. And again, I'm not sitting here acting like I haven't been there before because I have. And yes, I post things on Instagram too. Like if I go to a nice restaurant, which, I don't do it every night, but if I get to a point where, I have a nice dinner and I'm enjoying family and friends, yeah, I might post something in my stories. But that's exactly what's happening. Special occasions, not all the time. Social media is a snapshot. This is not how people are living on a day to day basis. However, some of us can get our minds twisted and distorted and might feel and believe that this is exactly how people live on a day to day basis. So they go out and they try to mimic it and they try to compare and they try to make their lives the same. And that's when we run into some problems. Like J. Cole says, you will never be happy until you learn to love yours. Looking, wanting what somebody else has is a recipe for disaster. I've done it so many years. Majority of my life I've done it. I didn't know who I was. I always looked outside, didn't look in, looked towards other people for validation, wanted everything that everybody else had. And then when I got it, I realized that I didn't want it. I paid too much for it, couldn't afford it, and my life was miserable. Everything starts with self. And like I said in the beginning, I didn't know how to love myself until I realized that I was surrounded by a bunch of stuff that I didn't love and a bunch of people that I didn't love and they didn't love me either. Now there was a whole bunch of people hating, hating me, hating on me, hating me, whatever you want to call it. And I was right along with them because if I had known any better, I wouldn't have put myself in that situation in the beginning. See, when you love yourself, you won't put yourself in situations that don't serve you. Some of us are sleeping. Some of us are conversating with the enemy on a daily basis and we don't even know it. And the sad part about it is that the enemy, thank you so much for joining, the enemy sometimes is in our own four walls. And let's take it even deeper. The real enemy sometimes is within. And we walk around, and I've done it too for so many years, thinking that somebody's doing something to you. They did this to me, they did that to me. When in reality, I did it to myself. When we put ourselves in situations that don't serve us, when we attach ourselves to people who don't love us. When we go to places that we know full well we don't belong, who's the real enemy then? Now, on the flip side of it, we ain't gonna take this all the way down no dark, dreary no dark, dreary path. Let's take it on a flip side because we're gonna learn about this tonight on Transformational Tuesday. For those of you who have someone who's in your corner, who's rocking with you, ready to weather the storm, ready to grow with you, they know that they may not be perfect and you aren't either, but they're willing to work with you. That's a blessing. If you are in a relationship, I don't care if it's a situationship, a friendship, when two people can clearly come together and say, listen, we have a problem. This is not working. And if we continue to go down this path, it's going to be a problem. I know you got your flaws. I got mine. I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. But let's try to work this thing out together. If you have somebody in your corner like that, especially when it comes to the financial aspect of it, especially when it comes to the spiritual aspect of it, I mean, the list can go on and on, all of them. The mental aspect, the physical aspect, wow. That's probably somebody you might need to hold on to. That's what I call a blessing. When somebody's willing to listen and work and grow, and let's try to make this thing work. And if you bring a problem, if you bring a situation, if you bring a scenario to your significant other, your friend, your lover, your mate, I don't care, whatever, and they are willing to listen, willing and able, wow. Track 21, Minimalism versus Approval. Disc 5, Restoration. Song of the Day, Love Yours by J. Cole. You gotta love yours, because there's no such thing as a life that is better than yours. No such thing. Let's get into tonight. We are going to help out Tasha and Malik. Charlotte, North Carolina. Shout out to anybody who lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. Before I get into tonight's session here, if there's anything out there that sparks an interest in you, anything that I'm speaking about tonight raises an interest in you, please feel free to reach out. You can text me at 609 200 1098. I'm opening it up now. You can email me. If there's any questions that you like me to ask, anything that you like me to address on the 411 podcast, Reading Between the Wines, email me. info@larengaines.com. Thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. info@larengaines.com. I have a great way of twisting things around and taking names so that people don't know who it's coming from. If you want it to be anonymous, just put that in there as well, and we'll make that work. info@larengaines.com. You can also text me at 609 200 1098. Tonight, we're helping Miss Tasha and Malik. Charlotte, North Carolina. Tasha is an event planner and Malik is a carpenter. They are shifting toward a minimalist lifestyle to escape financial stress. But outside judgment and internal pressure threatens to unravel their commitment. Tasha and Malik of Charlotte, North Carolina, event planner and a carpenter, they are shifting toward a minimalist lifestyle to escape financial stress. But outside judgment and internal pressure threatens to unravel their commitment. So I said in the beginning of the show that I'm going to have to try to keep my emotions in check because I am a minimalist today. And as we go through and help Tasha and Malik, I might be helping myself, and I pray that I'm helping somebody else out there as well. But some of this might take me down memory lane a little bit. So clearly, they understand that they got a lot going on and they want to escape the financial stress. They don't want to deal with it anymore. So it sounds like they're working more towards a minimalist lifestyle. When you have been attached to so much stuff and you can understand and your eyes get open to what the minimalist lifestyle is and how much money you can save and how much, not even just the saving of the money, but I don't want to be bothered with it. I don't want to be bothered with the nonsense that comes with having all of this extra stuff attached to me. So I get it. Financial stress, but let's speak about mental stress as well. There are so many different things that we can do to help when it comes to relieving some financial stress when it comes to minimalism. And this is the best way I could probably lay it out here. I'm looking at my life, looking at this situation here, knowing where I came from, where I used to have over 100 pairs of shoes. I had so many clothes that I probably didn't have to wash clothes for a whole year. I had so many clothes I didn't have to worry about doing laundry. Hats, accessories, this, that, the next, the other. And then now, when you're attached to other people who live the same exact way, you can imagine what my environment looked like. And when you wake up over and over and over again with the same personality, so you can't just blame it on one person. Couldn't blame it on number one, couldn't blame it on number two, couldn't blame it on number three. It had nothing to do with them, but it had everything to do with me. Because what we experience in our world is a reflection of what's going on the inside. So if you keep attracting the same situations, the same scenarios, the same people and over and over again, I would strongly urge you not to point your fingers and blame them and say, why do I keep running into the same people? Why do I keep having this same situation show up over and over again? It's probably because you failed the test. And that's exactly what happened in my life. Number one was a hoarder. Number two's a hoarder. Number three's a hoarder. By the time I got to four, I'm like, yeah, never claimed to be a genius, but I lived long enough to see this. To the fact that I turned my life to be a minimalist, and that's one of the best things that I could possibly do. If I needed to pick up and move at the drop of a dime, I would be able to do it within hours. That's how much of a minimalist I am. I'd be able to do it within hours. And the next day be moved in completely fine and have every essential necessities that I need and be just completely okay with it. In fact, that when things start to get a little cluttered, when it's a little bit too much, I will immediately just automatically start donating things and getting rid of things. This weekend it was great. I did the same thing. I went through and started to get rid of some things because when you hold on to stuff and you hoard stuff, you don't allow any room for any growth or room for anything new, anything fresh. Same thing when it comes to your money. When you hoard, you don't allow any flow and it will become stagnant. And of course, we all know what happens when, thank you so much for joining, I appreciate you. We all know what happens when you charge to the max or you go right to the max. You have no room for nothing else because all of your money is exhausted. That becomes financial stress because if there's something that's new comes out, if there's something new that you want, if there's a different change or something that you want, and you haven't evaluated your financial situation and asked yourself, do I really need this? Or am I just so used to accumulating things? For example, subscriptions. How many of you out there have a bunch of subscriptions and don't even know you have it? I've done coaching sessions with people and they say, Laren, I have no idea how many subscriptions I have. Well, number one, we should be checking our bank statements, credit card statements, whatever you want to call it, to see exactly what's being charged every month. Then, if we can't do that, because some of us may not be there, I get it, they have an app that you can download on your phone that will tell you all of the subscriptions that you've signed up for, and you can unsubscribe right then and there. That little exercise saved people more than $100 a year because they were so used to just signing up for things, not looking at the financial aspect of it. Just because you have the money, let's just go ahead and spend it and sign up for it, that they didn't realize that they're spending, basically not spending, wasting hundreds of dollars a year in subscriptions that they don't need. Should we go down a list? Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Prime. I mean, all of these different TV shows and networks, they all have their app. So check your statements and see that could be a issue when it comes to, I'm going to call it, hoarding. Another reason why someone will want to be a minimalist. I watch people who just pick up things because I spend time in a retail environment where they just pick up things. And because they have something at home, oh, I need the color blue of it. I need this to match it. So we're just picking up things and buying things just because it's quote unquote cute. Or I want this color. I got all these colors and I need to collect it. Really? If you have 6 of them, you really need to add another one just because it's a purple color or it comes in a different shade? So think about that. Think about your own situation here. Again, I'm just thinking about mine. The other thing about this here that is interesting is outside judgment. Outside judgment. I said in the beginning that this is not for everybody. And I strongly urge, see, I've changed the way I started to approach this. Because one thing that I've learned is that you can't change anybody. The only person that you can change is yourself. And a lot of my issues in the past, and I don't know if they're dealing with this as well, is when you think that you can change people. When you want to just be so helpful. When you want to just give your all to somebody else. To try to pull them up to your level. That becomes a problem. And I had a scenario brought to me a couple weeks ago. It is far easy for someone who's on the ground, at ground level, to pull you off of a ladder, pull you down off of a ladder. They have much more leverage and strength to pull you down off of the ladder versus you trying to pull them up to your level. The chances are you pulling them up to your level or you falling down from them pulling you down. Check that out. Which one you think is going to win that game? Someone who's on the ground trying to pull and tug you down off of a ladder, or you trying to pull them up while you're standing and holding on to a ladder? You can't change people. And this journey is not easy. And it takes a specific person to be able to say, I want to live debt free. And there is no pressure here. There is no coercing anybody. And if you're in a situation, if you're in a relationship, if you're in any type of situation and both parties are not on the same page, chances are is that you're fighting a losing battle. I hate to put it that way, but it is a reality. So many different couples, people come to me for, assistance, but they have a significant other who is dealing with financial avoidance. Won't look at a bill, don't know what's going on, don't know how much money's coming in. And they think that getting any type of coaching, guidance, mentorship from one level is going to be able to help and protect both of them. And the response that I have to say to that is absolutely not. Outside judgment. When you're looking or not looking, when you are basically worried about what someone from the outside thinks, they probably didn't even judge you yet. They probably didn't even say anything. But in your mind, in your mental trip that you go down, you're so concerned and worried about outside judgment. A lot of times we make up these things in our own minds. We make up these scenarios, and half of the time they're not even true to begin with. And if it was true, what do you care for? Someone's judging you how you're living and cleaning up your life. What do you care for? Tell me the last time that they paid any of your bills. Anybody at your job, have they paid your bills? So when it comes to outside judgment, your friends that you hang out with, do they pay any of your bills? Are they there with you during the sacrifice when you were trying to make ends meet? When you were robbing Peter to pay Paul? So never should we ever be worried about outside judgment. Never should we be comparing ourselves to anybody else. And see, when we let the outside judgment, when we let that enemy into our situation, when we let that enemy into our relationships, this is where internal conflict comes in. So now, because we're worried about outside judgment, now there's internal pressures that threatens this whole commitment that these two have decided to journey that they've decided to go on. So if I was in this couple's shoes, there definitely would be some spiritual exercises, deep meditation, because you are going to need to be spiritually grounded to be able to fight all of the nonsense that's coming from the outside that is threatening to disrupt what you have committed to and what you're building upon. You both clearly know that moving towards a minimalist lifestyle is easier. You can see it. You're working on it. But you're letting outside issues, people, because that's the only other thing that it would be, outside judgment, fracture what you have going on the inside. I think that's a shame. So I would say definitely need to have some spiritual. We need to go down that path. I'm not quite sure what that looks like because I don't know this full scope and the details of this. But it sounds like this couple will be able to make it. This doesn't sound like a disaster. I've had some situations that were like a little sketchy, but this one looks very promising. So that's what I have to give to Tasha and Malik. If there's anybody out there tonight that has something a little bit different, you want to chime in, you want to let me know how you feel about tonight's show, please text me at 609-200-1098. That is the official 4-1 podcast reading Between the Wines hotline. I want to thank each and every one of you for joining in. And right about now, we're getting ready to get into burning questions. What are you willing to give up today to become the version of yourself you've always dreamed about tomorrow? Burning questions. What are you willing to give up today to become the version of yourself you've always dreamed about tomorrow? Now, I want you to think about that. Think about Tasha and Malik. Think about what they are willing to give up and what struggles they are experiencing, and how the struggles could get in the way of what the end game plan is. Think about your own scenario. Think about where you are today. Think about where you want to be tomorrow. next month, next year. You know what you need to give up because nobody else is going to know that better than you. And I don't know who I'm speaking to. I'm only speaking from experience, but sometimes we just try to hold on. We try to hold on to people and try to take them with us. And I already gave you that ladder scenario. The people that we're trying to hold on to and trying to pull up the ladder, they're trying to pull us down because they're comfortable right where they're at. What are you willing to give up today to become the version of yourself you've always dreamed about tomorrow? There's some places that we just don't, we can't shake. We got to keep going back. I know somebody who was in a great relationship, but they couldn't stay out of the hood. And because they couldn't stay out of the hood, it caused issues. And you know what that scenario is? That little saying is, you can take people out the hood, but you can't take the hood out of them. And then they also have that one where you can't turn into a housewife either. So what about the material things? I talked about the subscriptions. There's some people who have a problem and they just, Laren, I just have to shop online. I have an issue where I just love Amazon. I just love Shein. I just have to do it every week. You have to do it every week? I just love Starbucks coffee. I just love Dunkin' Donuts. I gotta have my latte every day. What are you willing to give up today to become the version of yourself you've always dreamed about tomorrow? That one little simple thing, and you might think that it's not that much. So those things do add up. And before we start to add up the dollars, because it's not all just focusing on money. It's the habits and the routine and it's the discipline. If you discipline if you discipline yourself enough around certain things, that daily discipline will start to trickle in and spill over into your financial life. But if there's no self-discipline with just simple basic things, how do we expect it to flow into our bank accounts? What are you willing to give up today to become the version of yourself you've always dreamed about tomorrow? Now, I posted something yesterday titled I Remember Me. I remembered a younger version of myself who basically was a people pleaser. I didn't know who I was. Any clothes, cars, jewelry, flashy things, I was all about it. Sybil has a song called Don't Make Me Over. And anytime I got into a relationship, that's exactly what happened. That relationship made me over. I became a different person and I became stuck to whatever environment. I was mesmerized and fascinated with the person. Whatever baggage they had, whatever nonsense they had, I basically made it a part of mine. I remember that person. And I remember him oh so well. Because today, now that I know better, I do better. And that type of living, that type of lifestyle, that individual, I have to say today, absolutely not. I thank the younger version of myself for teaching me all of the things, but I know different today. And I have to remember myself and I have to remind myself that I'm willing to give up any type of disrespectful, downright dirty individual who is going to take me off of my path. Thank you so much for joining. And with me, it usually starts with the people. Then it flows into the material world when your mind gets distorted. and then it trickles into something else and then into something else. So today I'm willing to give up all of that. No longer people pleasing. You're going to need to come with something better than the same old BS that I've been listening to for the longest time. But one thing I have to say is that thank you so much for joining. I appreciate you. When you are willing to give up something and you complete several reps, several cycles, and you start to have some discipline into it, you won't need to worry anymore. You will not need to worry anymore. My mentor says, Laren, you don't got to worry about it today because today you know how to pick them. And that is so true. Like today, we know how to pick them. Whatever you give up today, that's not going to be a problem once you commit to it, once you stick to it, once you see the benefits of letting that go. You ain't got to worry about it. And when it shows up, maybe you'll be able to say, I remember. I remember. And you know what I also remember? I remember where I'm going. And I'm not going to let any distractions, I'm not going to let any BS, I'm not going to let any drama come in here and decide to disrupt and change and mess things up. What are you willing to give up today to become the version of yourself you've always dreamed about? If you're watching this replay, drop it in the comments. Text me 609 200 1098. This is a good one. Inner reflection. What are you willing to give up today to become the version of yourself you've always dreamed about tomorrow? My life didn't change until I started giving up people. People that no longer serve me. People who didn't want anything good going for me. Thank you so much for joining in. If you like anything that you heard tonight, please feel free to text me at 609 200 1098. Again, that number is 609 200 1098. It really does feel like a Monday, but it's Transformational Tuesday. Memorial Day was yesterday, and I don't know about each and every one of you out there. I don't know if you celebrate it or not, but I don't really celebrate certain holidays. And but I worked yesterday. I worked yesterday, but for some reason it feels like it's a Monday. So I don't know. That's where we're at here. I am on Facebook, Instagram, X, YouTube, TikTok, D Live, Twitch, Daily Motion. My handle name is at Gaines. You can also go to my website, LarenGaines.com, and you can sign up for my free monthly newsletter, which is Whispers of Wisdom. Whispers of Wisdom will give you inspirational content, motivational content delivered to your inbox once a month around debt-free living from the four lenses of Black Diamond Consultations, which is spiritual, mental, physical, and financial well-being. You also can sign up for a free 15-minute consultation if you are interested in learning more about debt-free living. And again, when it comes to the debt-free living, you have to be serious about it. No one can do this for you. You will get the tools, you'll get the support, you'll get the resources to make it happen. But the only person that can make it happen is you. If you are a person that thinks that we can just wave a magic wand and everything's going to be okay, it's not going to happen. If you are a person who can't stop with some of the online shopping, which we spoke about, it's not going to happen. If you are a person who still swipes your credit card, knowing full well that you don't have enough money at the end of the month to pay for it, and you're just going to make the minimal payments, not going to happen. This is for somebody who is sick and tired of being sick and tired. They've had enough. They hit rock bottom and they can't get any lower. Sign up for that free 15-minute consultation. Apply to see if you qualify. Because again, this is not for everybody. This is only for those who are serious about this. People who want to change. People who no longer want to live off of borrowed money. People who want to build something in the future. You know, I probably have this quote wrong, but this really just woke me up. And maybe it'll wake somebody up tonight. I'm not going to say I have it wrong, but if I do, don't hold me to it. But Warren Buffett had a quote that said that if you, somewhere along the lines, that if your money, it basically, if you're not making money in your sleep, you'll work until you die. Now, if I got it right, it wasn't until the rest of your life. The word die was in it. Like, if you are not making money in your sleep, you will work until you die. After I heard that, that's enough. That's all I needed to hear. If you are not making money in your sleep, you will work until you die. That's it. I'm done. Sign me up and let me know what we need to do to make sure that that doesn't happen. Because one thing I'm very passionate about is Black Diamond Consultations. Because my name's on that. And I'm going to rock in this thing. And we, trust me, once I understood and know what my purpose is and the plan, oh, I'm here. I'm signing up for it. Tired, not tired, whatever the case may be. Like, we still gonna keep rocking this thing and doing this thing until God takes me up off it. But to get up every day and go to work for somebody else and help somebody else's business and not make sure that I'm not taking care of my own from my family as well and my legacy, absolutely not. I stopped that. I want to say I stopped that in 2020. Yeah, basically 2020, I stopped that. I said, absolutely not. Yeah, I get that I might have to go to work for somebody else. I get that I might have to have 2 and 3 jobs to make a hustle and do what I got to do. But at the end of the day, I want to make sure that I got my own too. Because I clock in at Black Diamond Consultations before I clock in anywhere else. If you are not making money while you sleep, you will work until you die. That's all I needed to know. And that's enough to get me to start getting my life together. Again, it's not for everybody. But if you're interested in learning more, head on over to LarenGaines.com. And on that note, I want to say tomorrow, I want you to come back. We have Wind Down Wednesday. Author Birdman313 will be coming in. We're going to sip some wine. I think I got some Pinot Grigio. My sister gave me a bottle of Pinot Grigio that we're going to sample tomorrow. And chop it up with Birdman313. Wind Down Wednesday, every Wednesday. You get some financial literacy, wine sampling in a more relaxed environment. Definitely some laughs. So definitely come back tomorrow. And I want to say thank you so much to everybody out there who listens. If you can please do me a favor, please like, comment, share, subscribe, tag a friend, invite them in. Let them know what's going on over here on the 401 podcast, Reading Between the Wines. And on that note, I'll see y'all tomorrow. Wind Down Wednesday, Reading Between the Wines with author Birdman313. Thank you so much. Everybody take care. Have a good night.